Tonight we're running a co-design session with folks from all walks of life in Harlem. So the center is trying to reimagine what cities can do and provide residents. How can technology actually enhance quality of life and the experience of living in cities? But when we think about what a smart city is so far, like technology added to a city, it's been a bunch of cameras and it's been a bunch of sensors, and it's been the city listening to activities and our behavior and learning from us. It shouldn't just be cities getting information from us. Can we create technology whose sole purpose is for a city to start sharing and giving back?
The goal was to look at the existing conditions of a community like Harlem, the streetscape. What are some of the things that speak to me as a resident of this community?
Technology is more of like a conduit or a way to solve problems that people are experiencing every day. We really focus on like the human side of developing.
So let's get into our sticky note tour. What we have here are people's like raw ideas, and they're clustered into themes. And what this entire wall represents are types of information needs and opportunities. What kinds of information would be useful for people to access? And we've discovered a lot of really interesting things in session one. So for example, understanding history of neighborhood, figures within Harlem, also resources with getting involved. What is your community board doing? We can find the transcripts online, but would it be useful to visualize that information as you're actually walking out and about? So we're setting the stage for us to get into creative design mode. As technology designers, we have many technologies to play with to make things happen. You could think of these like tools in our toolbox, right? Like we can use smartphones, screens, signs, some kind of online platforms, chat apps, messaging apps. These media cards represent technology tools that can enable delivery of this information.
You'll be brainstorming on your notepads with the idea. You would pair it with your tool.
We'll have a share out where we come with the many ideas that we thought of, and we start to connect the dots between the ideas. We start to put some of these concepts together.
But in that, we're also working to train sort of a new generation of engineers that think through that process, that think toward designing for a need rather than designing, to a specification that is coming top down. This is very much a bottom-up process.
Which is why we're calling these sessions co-design sessions. And we're really treating this as a group design project where we're all sitting around the table and we have an equal place at the table. And engineers can help explain what's possible technologically, but it's everyone else that's in the room that are actually teaching the engineers what the real problems are. What problems should we be solving, and which actually require new technology development, so that we can focus our sort of technical efforts on making those possibilities happen.
What's good about the touchscreen is that you could also use it in instances, for instance, in Harlem, in extreme weather conditions such as heat. You'll find a cooling center.
Then you can also add like a QR code there. For those who can't hear, you can have flashing lights.
I was thinking about 311 reports and people trying to report issues in their neighborhood and trying to figure out if other people were reporting the same thing. To gauge, the city's response time.
We're flaring out on the community's issues. So a flare means like just letting it all out, expressing all of our opinions, no matter how wild they are. And then we're honing in on those opinions and understanding and picking out the big picture.
We were almost, as they say, spitballing. So we really hope that a number of the particular things that we identified actually come to fruition. So whether it might be wayfinders, whether it might be augmented reality, or let's say a building that I knew was there, it's no longer there. But I have my smartphone, I see a QR code, I see the whole history of the building. That's transformative.
So then let's use our paddles. What do we think about augmented reality, AR, where you see like graphical overlays to visualize something, right? Like what do we think about that?
They did it from the perspective of, how do you define a smart city? What makes a city smart for you, for your neighborhood, for your community? And that's what was attractive to me.
The participants will understand after this workshop that their opinions, thoughts, and ideas will become a mandate for our lab, and a mandate for the future social research that we'll be doing, specifically related to Harlem, our test bed. Everything they say and give to us during these sessions really matters.
I think the impact is that this community has a better sense of what it has and how you have access to more information, more opportunities, possibilities. You know, you can't be a civic-minded individual if you have no information.
And now we're gonna rate. We're gonna rate his stuff, okay?